Hazel had been in a coma for a year at the hospital, after her father saved her from an accident. But the cruel twist of fate was that she awoke to find her best friend married to the man she loved. Even her own family seemed to have forgotten her. In the wake of this, Hazel hatched a plan to expose the secrets hidden by everyone involved. A year had passed since the crime, a year of secrets kept by her best friend and her entire family. Could Hazel get the justice she deserved? "Nurse Cassandra, where is the patient in this room? Why isn't she here?" asked Dr. Victor Hayes, the neurologist for the patient in private room 101. "That's impossible. Miss Montgomery was just in her room," Doc, the nurse answered nervously, immediately rushing to room 101. "Are you trying to make me look like a fool?" Cassandra Victor asked, the nurse annoyed. "Doc, I'm telling the truth. She was right there just a moment ago and she can't even walk." "Isn't Miss Montgomery still in a coma?" Nurse Cassandra's eyes widened when she saw that Hazel Montgomery was gone from the hospital bed. "I told you." "What about her family? Maybe they had her moved to a different room," Victor suggested, but Nurse Cassandra shook her head. "Doc, that wouldn't happen. Miss Montgomery has been bedridden in this hospital for a year, but not a single family member has stayed to watch over her. When they do visit, it's once in a blue moon," Cassandra blurted out. "Just check the surveillance footage. We're running out of time." Something might have happened to Hazel. The nurse quickly followed the doctor's order, and they were both shocked by what they saw. Hazel had woken up early that morning, rushed to the garage, and took off on her motorcycle. "Oh my gosh, we're in big trouble." "What do we do?" Nurse Cassandra exclaimed in disbelief. "You're a real headache, Hazel. Prepare the ambulance." She just woke up. There could be complications. She shouldn't be wandering around outside like a zombie. That Montgomery family is a bunch of useless fools. I know Hazel went to her house. Let's go. Victor moved quickly toward the hospital garage. His car was in its parking space. His heart pounded in his chest, worried about his friend Hazel. She had been comatose for a year after being hit by a car while saving her father, who was the intended target of their business rivals. The severe impact to her head had caused significant trauma, putting her into a coma. During the year she lay unconscious, he couldn't recall any of the Montgomerys truly caring for Hazel. Only he and Nurse Cassandra had been the ones consistently looking after her. Meanwhile, at the Montgomery estate, everyone was celebrating. It was the 26th birthday of Celine Ross, Hazel's best friend. Celine was incredibly close to her best friend's family, especially to Daniel, Hazel's former fiancé, who was now Celine's husband. "I'm so dizzy." "Why is the house so chaotic?" Hazel mumbled, clutching her head. No one noticed her as she walked like a zombie into her parents' luxurious home. The young woman was completely disoriented. Everyone's attention was on the birthday girl, Celine. "Happy birthday, my love," Daniel greeted his wife, placing a soft kiss on her lips. "My love." What does he mean by that, Hazel thought after hearing those words from Daniel's own mouth. She frowned as she watched the overly affectionate Celine and Daniel. "Thank you, love. I'm so happy. Today is my 26th birthday, and we have the whole family here with us. You, my husband, and aunt and uncle. I'm just so happy," Celine exclaimed, hugging Daniel joyfully. "Husband, they're married. She's Daniel's wife." "Daniel, you were supposed to be mine." "What is happening?" Hazel's heart screamed in agony at the sight. "Happy birthday, dear. Here is my gift to you," her mother said, handing over the keys to a car. Hazel had long dreamed of a BMW her mother had been saving up for her. But now, her mother was giving it to Celine. "That was supposed to be mine," Mom Hazel whispered, wanting to scream at her mother, but no sound came from her throat. "Aunt Amanda, are you really giving this to me?" Celine said in disbelief. "Of course, dear. If it weren't for you, this family would have been mired in sadness over Hazel's coma for a long time. You deserve it for giving us hope and happiness," Amanda said emotionally, while Hazel leaned against the wall, taking in everything she was witnessing. She slapped her own cheek hard, but she was truly awake from her long sleep. This wasn't a dream like the ones she often had of Daniel and Celine being intimate in her hospital room. So the conversations she had overheard between Daniel and Celine during their hospital visits weren't dreams. They really were in a relationship. "Enjoy your birthday, dear. You're officially part of the family," her father, August, said happily. "Congratulations, Celine, and happy birthday. I wish you all the luck in your marriage to Daniel. And don't worry, when Hazel wakes up, I'll help you explain all the unexpected things that happened," said Kate, Hazel's younger sister, with a smile. Even Kate Hazel thought in disbelief seeing Kate hug Celine. "She's taking my sister from me too." "Don't worry, the whole family is behind you. Besides, you've been a huge help to us, especially with the vineyard. If you hadn't come up with a solution for the blight, we probably would have lost it by now, her father August added. It's the least I could do as part of the family to help you. You're not strangers to me. Hazel is like a sister, Celine said, with a wide smile. The method you came up with was brilliant, Celine. I'm truly impressed. Hazel is no match for your skills in managing the vineyard, Kate added. And because of that, Celine, dear, your uncle, and I decided to give you Hazel's 30% share in the vineyard. I'll also add my 10% share so you can manage the whole operation. You now have a 40% share of the vineyard, Amanda announced, handing Celine the signed transfer of asset documents. No, Mom, you can't do this to me. Hazel wanted to scream, but she couldn't. No voice came out. Tears just streamed down her face. How could her own family do this? How could they give Celine the things that rightfully belonged to her? She had worked for years for this. She had studied for years to find a solution to the blight problem, devastating their vineyard. But Celine had stolen everything from her. She had spent sleepless nights in the research office, perfecting the inorganic formula that would save their vines. And just like that, it was now in Celine's hands after her accident. Hazel clutched her head. It was throbbing from everything she had witnessed. Her best friend and her fiancé, the man she had been with for so long, were married. And her beloved family. It seemed they had completely forgotten about her in the hospital. She felt as if her heart was being stabbed by countless daggers. Oh my gosh, Uncle. Aunt, is all of this true? Are you really giving all of this to me? Celine said emotionally. Yes, dear, you deserve everything. You deserve that share, and you deserve to lead the vineyard toward a brighter future, said August. Thank you so much, Uncle Aunt. I won't let you down. I will work hard for the future of the vineyard, Celine said with a smile. Love, did you hear all that? Why aren't you saying anything? She asked her husband. Celine, I can't believe it. I'm really speechless, Daniel replied, kissing his wife's forehead. Hazel squeezed her eyes shut and went up to her room. She opened it and took the contents of her safe. Hazel rushed out, carrying an important item, clutching her head in pain. What was in the safe was her complete study plan for the blight that had been plaguing their vineyard. What she had released at the research center was only a clinical trial and could cause problems in the future. Maybe not now. And when that day comes, let's see how great you are, Celine. You take credit for every bit of hard work I did while you were out enjoying your life. You have some nerve, Hazel seethed to herself. But before she could leave her room, painful memories suddenly flooded her mind. Memories she had tried to push away and ignore before. They were signs of her friends and her fiancé's betrayal. She just couldn't accept it then. Daniel, I thought you were going with me today, Celine cooed, draping herself over Daniel's shoulders. Daniel had been Hazel's classmate in college, which is where their relationship began. He was close to her family, and they were supposed to get married this year if her grandfather Roman hadn't fallen ill and eventually passed away, leaving the management of their vast vineyard in Napa Valley to her father. But because of the massive blight problem affecting several fields, the vineyard was losing money. Her father wanted to sell it, but Hazel objected. Her father couldn't do anything because Hazel held the largest share in the vineyard. She wanted to save it through her research study, which was nearing completion. I have to go with Hazel to the vineyard, Daniel replied, removing Celine's hands. But you promised me, she pouted like a child. Hazel was shocked when she saw Celine hug her boyfriend. Daniel didn't push her away. He just let Celine embrace him. As Daniel's girlfriend, she herself was shy about being so forward, even when they were alone. Celine was different. Daniel, you're always turning me down. I'm really starting to get upset. But I guess you need to go with Hazel to the vineyard. Who am I for you to choose anyway? Of course Hazel is more important in your life. Celine followed this with a sad look into Daniel's eyes. Hazel gasped from behind the large curtain in their living room at what she saw next. Celine kissed Daniel on the lips, and her boyfriend seemed to be enjoying it. Celine was seducing the man she was with the man who held her heart. All right, fine, I'll meet you at the mall later. After I drop Hazel off at the vineyard, Daniel replied with a smile, pulling Celine's hips closer to his body. Good. I knew you couldn't resist me, Daniel, Celine purred. You're such a witch. Now go before Hazel gets jealous, Daniel said. But you really promise you'll come with me, okay? I promise. You're so persistent. There had been signs of their relationship all along, but Hazel had ignored them. She made herself believe that her best friend was just affectionate and that Daniel was just friendly. It never crossed her mind that something was going on between them. It was her fault for being so naive. She had let a snake into her own home. The two of them quickly separated, winking at each other. Then Daniel said he would go down first to get the car ready for their trip to the vineyard. Hello. Are you outside already? Good. Make sure that August doesn't survive. But I don't want any messy work, you hear me? I want it clean. All right, wait for August outside the vineyard, Celine said to the person on the phone. Then she hung up. She glanced around, and when she was sure no one was in the living room, she went up to her room, which was right next to Hazel's. Hazel was terrified by what she had heard from Celine. She had a sinister plan for her father. She rushed to her father, who was at the vineyard. She left Daniel without confronting him and just took her motorcycle. The important thing was to save her father from danger. Just as she arrived at the vineyard, she saw her father walking out. Hazel quickly got off her motorcycle to warn him, but a speeding truck was targeting August. Hazel saw it from a distance. She ran to her father and pushed him away, but her body was hit by the truck, and that accident was the reason she lay unconscious in the hospital for a year. Celine and Daniel had been deceiving her for a long time, and she had almost forgotten that crucial fact that she had been betrayed by her friend and her fiancé. I can't die. I can't die this easily. You animals, you traitors. You will regret what you did to me. She wiped the tears streaming down her cheeks as her memory returned to the present. How could you do this to me? Especially you, Dad. I almost lost my life saving you. How could you abandon me? How could you all be so happy while I was lying in a hospital bed? You even gave a snake the things that were meant for me. Especially my shares in the vineyard. You're all so unfair, trusting my traitorous friend. A series of questions ran through Hazel's mind. Her body was failing her. By the time she got out of her parents' large house, the young woman felt different. She felt like she was about to collapse at any moment. If she kept walking, her legs would give out. Her entire body trembled as she stopped at the side of the road and sat down. She looked back at her family, all celebrating. Not a single one of them had remembered her. Everyone was ecstatic over Celine's fake achievements, giving her what was rightfully hers and her cheating fiancé. It felt like Hazel's world had completely crumbled. She had nothing to go back to in her family. I won't let you continue deceiving my family, Celine. I will expose your true colors, and you will pay for every sin you've committed, she vowed to herself, until darkness enveloped her vision and she could no longer prevent her body from collapsing to the ground. But just before she fell, she heard a man cursing. Are you out of your mind, Montgomery? Who told you that after waking up in the hospital you could just walk around like a zombie and go home to your worthless family, huh? It was Victor's voice. Victor, take me away, Hazel said tearfully before losing consciousness. The man's face was red with anger as he carried Hazel to the ambulance and picked up the USB drive that had fallen from her hands. Check her vitals, Victor ordered Nurse Cassandra. Victor brought Hazel back into the private hospital room. She was struggling again and her vital signs were unstable. Victor didn't know when she would wake up again. You can't give up, Hazel. If you do, Celine and Daniel will be even happier. They'll get their hands on the vineyard you worked so hard to save from ruin, Victor said sadly, talking to the sleeping Hazel. The next day, Hazel still hadn't woken up, but at least her vital signs were stable, and Victor could see the speedy development of her body's recovery, especially the normal movement of her brainwaves. She could hear what he was saying. A little later, Celine arrived at the hospital. She went straight to Hazel's private room. The nurses, under Victor's orders to keep Hazel's condition a secret from her family, said nothing about the previous day's events. Hello, my dear Hazel. You know I was so happy yesterday. I tricked your mother. Did you know that your latest plan to stop the blight from spreading throughout the fields has borne fruit and your mother thinks I'm the savior of your vineyard? It feels so good to be driving the BMW you always dreamed of, and most importantly, I now have all your shares in your family's vineyard. Isn't that great? Celine said with a smirk. Anyway, you don't need to wake up anymore. Just sleep forever, my dear friend. Everything you have is mine now. Okay. Smirking, Celine took a vial of sedatives from her bag. Right now, I'm so happy, dear. You know that feeling when all your efforts have finally paid off, and I've taken from you the things I've long been envious of. Who invented this concept of fate anyway? Why did I have to grow up poor while you grew up rich? Damn this fate. So I made sure to reverse our fortunes, friend. It feels amazing. Seriously, Celine said with a smile, twirling a strand of Hazel's long hair around her fingers. But for now, this will be my gift to you to help you sleep even more soundly. Good night, my dear best friend. Just keep sleeping forever and don't you dare wake up, not ever again, Hazel, Celine said with a grin. Every time Celine visited the hospital, she would give Hazel a sedative to keep her from fully waking up. especially now that she had what she wanted. It was better to do what she should have done a long time ago, finally kill Hazel Montgomery. Just as Celine was about to administer the injection, Hazel's eyes snapped open. She stared at Celine with rage. "You're awake." Celine stumbled backward in shock. Suddenly the alarm on Hazel's monitor blared, so Celine rushed out of the room. She didn't notice where she had dropped the empty sedative vial. She managed to put the syringe back in her shoulder bag. "You can't wake up, Hazel," she thought to herself. "What were you doing to Hazel?" Victor asked angrily, grabbing Celine firmly by the shoulder. "I didn't do anything, Victor." "I was just talking to Hazel when she suddenly woke up," Celine explained, pushing Victor away. Victor quickly closed the door to Hazel's private room, with the nurses inside. Celine was left outside, stunned and in shock. "You can't wake up, Hazel." "Not yet. You're supposed to die," she thought to herself, pacing outside Hazel's hospital room. Meanwhile, inside, Hazel sat up. Victor helped her sit up and lean against the bed. "Victor, Celine was about to inject me with some drug." "What kind of drug is this?" Hazel asked, handing Victor the vial Celine had left behind. "Sedatives." "It seems she really doesn't want you to wake up." Victor clenched his fist upon discovering that Celine had been sedating Hazel. "Victor, what's happening? Why did everything turn out like this? What happened during the year I was asleep, huh?" Hazel asked her doctor friend, tears in her eyes. "A lot has happened, but for now you need to rest. When you're okay, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm here to help you." Victor hugged his friend and comforted her as she cried. She couldn't be under this much stress. "That's enough. What you need to think about now is how to recover quickly. Get strong, and I'm here for you," Victor told Hazel. "Where's the thing I brought yesterday?" "Did you see it?" she asked Victor worriedly. She remembered the USB drive containing her complete research. "It's safe and sound." "I've hidden your research, Hazel. I know how hard you worked on that, so don't worry. It's safe with me," Victor said with a smile, taking her hand. "Thank you. I don't know what to do now, Victor. I don't know how to start over. I have nothing left." Everything was gone in an instant. Tears fell from Hazel's eyes again. "Stop it. Start here, in this hospital room. Recover as fast as you can. And then plan carefully how you'll make your comeback. I'll support you, Hazel." Victor shook his head, feeling pity for his friend. He had gone abroad to specialize in his medical field. During the years he was away, he had lost at love. He returned to find Hazel already with a boyfriend, but that was okay with Victor. What was important to him was that she was happy in her life. Victor stepped out of Hazel's room. Celine rushed to meet him, filled with anxiety. Victor could sense Celine's fear and knew it had something to do with what happened to Hazel last year. He just didn't have any evidence against this woman. "Victor, how's Hazel? Is she awake?" Celine immediately asked Victor when he came out of Hazel's room. "She's still in a coma. That was just a temporary awakening. It was like something stimulated her brainwaves, causing her to wake up. But she went right back into a coma." "What did you do?" Victor lied to Celine. "I was just talking to her." "Well, I have to go now. I have a lot of work to finish at the vineyard." Celine glanced at Hazel, who had peacefully returned to her comatose state. Celine secretly prayed that Hazel wouldn't wake up yet, and she would act to end the young woman's life for good. She called her father Gilbert Ross. Celine went straight to the Montgomery's house and found Hazel's family there, scolding Kate, Hazel's younger sister, again. "What's happening, Aunt Amanda?" Celine asked with concern. "It's Kate. That girl is getting out of hand. She doesn't listen to me anymore." "I don't know where I went wrong in raising this child," Amanda said sadly. "It's because all you ever see is the bad in me, Mom. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing," Kate blurted out, clearly annoyed. "I'll take care of Kate, Aunt Amanda." "Uncle August, let's talk. What trouble have you gotten into this time, huh?" Celine asked, stroking Kate's hair. "You talk to that girl, Celine. I don't know what to do with her anymore. She's so stubborn." "You're better off. Even though you're not my daughter, you're the one who has helped this family. Unlike Kate, who's completely useless." August said with a sigh. Celine just smiled and pulled Kate out to the large house's veranda. She glared at her and motioned for her to sit. Kate laughed and glanced back at her parents in the living room. "What mischief did you get into this time, you little troublemaker?" Celine asked Kate, who laughed. Celine spoiled Kate, giving her everything she wanted, unlike Hazel, who disciplined her wayward sister. That's why Kate adored Celine. Celine gave her everything she desired, and sometimes even covered up for her misdeeds. Dad caught me at a bar. They're both furious with me again, Kate said, laughing. Celine playfully slapped her shoulder and sat next to her. Just don't get caught, okay? You're such a rascal. I'll handle your aunt and uncle. Just enjoy yourself. You're still young. Oh, I have 2 vacation tickets here for Hawaii. They're yours. Enjoy your vacation and take Sammy with you, Celine said, referring to Kate's boyfriend. Kate was overjoyed, hugging Celine tightly and kissing her on the cheek. That's why I really like you, Celine. You really love me. Thank you so much, Kate exclaimed happily. Just behave, okay? I'll take care of your school. Okay, yes, 8. Kate hugged her again and left in a flash after Celine gave her a large allowance. She wanted Kate to be a happy-go-lucky girl. She didn't want her to discover that she was usurping her family's wealth. Celine had no problem with Kate, because she took after her mother Amanda, who was naive and didn't think things through, unlike Hazel, who inherited her intelligence from her deceased grandfather. That's why no matter what she did before, she could never get past Hazel. I'm worried about Hazel's condition. It's been a year and she still hasn't woken up. She's still in a coma. Maybe we're just wasting money on Hazel and she'll never wake up, Amanda said, her eyes red. What are you saying? Amanda, August asked, his wife shocked. Celine overheard the couple's conversation in the living room and approached them. I'm afraid Hazel really has no hope of waking up. Think about it, she's been in a coma for a year. We've already spent a huge amount of money on her. And she still hasn't woken up. I feel like I've lost all hope for Hazel, Amanda said, tears streaming down her face. Amanda, don't be like that. We're not giving up on Hazel. Never, August exclaimed. August was dejected after hearing his wife's statement. Even if Hazel remained in a coma for years, he wouldn't give up on her. Not him. Aunt Amanda is right, Uncle August. I'm also afraid Hazel might never wake up. Celine agreed with Amanda. She also planned to convince August that there was no hope for Hazel's recovery. She didn't tell them that Hazel had suddenly woken up at the hospital when she visited. She would soon call a board meeting to take full control of the Montgomery vineyard. Meanwhile, Hazel was discharged from the hospital after a few days. She didn't go home to her parents' large house. Instead, she went with Victor. She needed to act now, against Celine and Daniel's schemes. Hazel couldn't accept that the vineyard her grandfather Roman had worked so hard for would be lost from her hands because of their betrayal. So, you mean you're going to show up at the upcoming board meeting? Celine has called, Victor asked the young woman, his surprise evident. Yes, Victor. Won't it be a good surprise for her? Hazel replied with a smile. But you don't have any shares left in the company. Your parents have already given all your shares to Celine, and your Aunt Amanda even added her 10% share. Hazel just smiled. She wasn't born a granddaughter of Roman Montgomery to be a fool and be oppressed by a lowlife like Celine, a woman pretending to be a white sheep but was actually a hidden black wolf. Actually, Grandpa Roman left me a 30% share, Vic, and the remaining 30% is with the company's senior board of directors. And I am sure I can win their hearts when I offer to buy their shares for a large sum, and I'll buy it under the name of CR Farms, Hazel told Victor. That's my girl. Not letting anyone push you around. So, does that mean you own CR Farms? Or do you have some connections in CR Farms? Victor asked his friend with a furrowed brow. I own CR Farms, Victor. Grandpa Roman already warned me that I couldn't trust Mom Amanda, even back then. So, I've been on alert since I established CR Farms, she explained to Victor. So, you mean you have doubts about your mom? Hazel just nodded. She had long noticed her mother's closeness to Celine, especially during special events in Celine's life. Her mom, Amanda, was always there, but that wasn't the only thing Hazel noticed back then. Sometimes, she even thought Amanda and Celine might have a personal connection. She had always defended Celine in the past, and her mom, Amanda, was always there for Celine, so much so that she sometimes thought Celine was her daughter. But her mom's reason was always that she felt sorry for Celine because she had no family left. Celine was an orphan. I don't know if my imagination is playing tricks on me, Victor. But Mom and Celine look alike. They look more like mother and daughter than we do. It's strange that Aunt Amanda gave Celine the things that should be yours. So, what about your research Celine became a hero to your parents after she supposedly saved your vineyard? How is your research different from the one Celine presented? What Celine released was an unfinished research. It's still in the clinical trial phase and will cause a major crisis in the vineyards in the coming days, Victor. What I have in my hands is my finished study with a complete solution to the blight. I never showed it to Celine because I didn't trust her anymore, even back then, Hazel said. I deliberately hid my research from Celine because I suspected that the blight in the vineyard was being caused intentionally. There are people on the inside destroying the crops, so I no longer trusted anyone around me even back then, Hazel seriously replied to the young man. So, your parents don't know about this? Especially your dad? Victor asked her. And the person who hit Dad that day, he looked familiar to me. I saw his face when he got out of the truck and checked on me. Anyway, I've already gotten the information on the man who ran you over last year. The driver was never caught, so the police investigation took a while. I personally hired investigators to speed things up. Victor changed the subject. Who is that man? Victor Hazel asked. I don't know him. Here's all his information. He works as a driver for large trucks that deliver pineapples, and I think someone paid him to run over Uncle August. Your suspicion is correct, Victor. Celine paid that driver to hit Dad. I heard Celine talking to someone on her phone. Dad was almost hit, but I have no evidence against her, Hazel said, shaking her head. I don't know why Celine did this to me. We've been close friends since we were young, and I also found out that she and Daniel have been deceiving me for a long time. Don't worry. Tomorrow morning we'll go to that man's house. We'll bring the police with us to arrest him. For now, it's better if you don't show yourself to your family, Victor told his friend. Meanwhile, Amanda and Celine were having a serious conversation inside Amanda's room. They were both very happy because their plans were close to succeeding. Don't worry, dear. We will support you during the turnover of the plantation's management. You can count on me to be behind you. We've dreamed of this for so long, Celine, Amanda said, stroking Celine's long hair. Mom, I wonder how August will feel when he finds out he has nothing left, Celine said, laughing. Furious, of course, but he can't do anything about it, my child. We will have everything they own. Our plan was just delayed because of that old man Roman. What about Hazel and Kate? They are your children too. Mommy, Celine asked her mother. I have no problem with Kate but Hazel, that's where we'll have a problem. And she won't accept the truth, that she's not my daughter and that I deceived her father. But let Hazel be. I've already instructed a nurse to end her life, Amanda replied. I'm so sick of her. It's hard for her to move when Hazel is around. Kate is fine, because she's clueless. Celine burst out laughing at Amanda's words. I'm so excited for the day we kick August out of his own home, Mom. And we'll be a complete family with Daddy Gilbert, Celine said, smiling as she hugged her mother. And I'll finally be free from that pest August, after I completely get rid of his daughter in the hospital. I'll get him next, Amanda said with a sinister smile. Amanda was once just August's secretary. Her boss liked her and forced her to marry him. August violated her and she was already pregnant with Celine at the time. Amanda was furious with August for forcing her. But because Amanda was greedy for money, she took advantage of August's attraction to her. When she gave birth to Celine, August was not there. So she gave their child to Gilbert. Gilbert didn't want Celine to grow up with August, so she adopted a child to replace Celine and introduced her to August as their daughter, and that was Hazel. August had no idea that the child Amanda was carrying was not his. The next morning, Victor and Hazel were outside Mr. Gilbert Ross's house. The entire area was very quiet, and it seemed like no one was inside the house. Victor's driver, Mr. Ramil, knocked on the door several times but no one answered from inside. There were no people around either because Gilbert Ross's house was at the end of a small village. Let's go in, Hazel told Victor. Mr. Ramil, step aside. The young man kicked the wooden door of the house. It opened after the small lock inside broke from the force he used. They were surprised to be greeted by thick dust inside. The house looked abandoned. It seemed like no one had lived there for months. Only old furniture was there. Nothing else. Hazel saw a picture frame hanging in the living room. The young woman's eyes narrowed as she realized who was in the picture. It was Celine in the picture frame. It was a picture of a young Celine. Hazel approached another picture frame and gasped at what she saw. Her mom, Amanda. It was a picture of her when she was younger. There was a man next to her. That man, he's the driver who ran over Hazel, Victor said, coming to her side. Vic, am I mistaken or is it just my imagination? Don't Mom and Celine look alike when Mom Amanda was young? Hazel asked with a furrowed brow, taking the picture off the wall. You're right. They do look alike. Could Celine be your mom's daughter? Impossible. If your suspicion is true, then Mommy knows Celine. It must be a coincidence, Hazel said in dismay. She was discovering more and more shocking things about her close friend, Celine. If her suspicion that Celine and Amanda were mother and daughter was true, She couldn't accept having a stepsister who almost killed her. They searched the rest of the house. In one room, there were old clothes of a young girl. There was also a picture of Celine. Hazel realized that the driver responsible for the accident was Celine's father. Where could this man be, Victor? Where could Gilbert Ross be? She asked her friend. Celine probably knows where her criminal father is, and that's what we need to find out, Victor told Hazel. Aside from those old pictures, Hazel and Victor found no other evidence linking Celine and Gilbert. There was an old report card there that belonged to Celine with Gilbert Ross's name signed on the parent's signature line. They confirmed that Gilbert and Celine were father and daughter. Hazel thought of a plan and decided to talk to Kate. She needed her sister's help this time. The whole Ramirez family was shocked when they went to the hospital. Hazel was no longer there. "You can't do this to us. Why weren't we informed that Hazel had woken up?" Amanda yelled at Nurse Cassandra. "Where's my daughter?" August demanded from Nurse Cassandra. "Ma'am, sir, I'm so sorry you weren't informed about Miss Montgomery's condition, but she was discharged from the hospital last week, and it was Miss Montgomery herself who said not to bother you," Nurse Cassandra replied. "Where is Dr. Victor? We want to talk to him. He told me Hazel hadn't woken up yet." "What's going on? We want to talk to him," Celine exclaimed. Cassandra couldn't help but smirk at Celine's words. She knew this woman. She was the one who had been giving Hazel sedatives. She wanted to slap this woman. She was too pretentious in front of the Montgomery family. It was obvious she had malicious intent. She had even reported it to Dr. Hayes, her patient's close friend. "I'm sorry, ma'am. We can't disclose the personal information of our doctors here. Maybe Miss Montgomery has her reasons for not informing you that she has woken up from her coma," Nurse Cassandra explained with a smile. "I can't believe this." "Daniel. Call Daniel Celine. Maybe Daniel knows where his girlfriend is." August ordered Celine. "Yes, I'll call Daniel and ask him about Hazel." Celine replied to August's order. "Go on, dear, call Daniel. What's going on with Hazel? Is she going to give me a headache?" They couldn't get any information from the nurse station about where Hazel had gone. Celine, on the other hand, was really worried to learn that Hazel was awake, especially since she didn't know where she had gone. So she would move the board meeting to the very next day so that if Hazel ever came back, she would have nothing to return to. Meanwhile, Nurse Cassandra quickly called Victor to inform him that the Montgomery couple, along with Celine, had gone to the hospital. They knew that Hazel was awake. August and Amanda Montgomery then rushed to Victor's house, hoping their daughter Hazel was there. "How could Hazel do this to us?" Amanda asked her husband, sadly. "I don't know, Amanda, but for the 1 year that Hazel was gone from us, Celine filled that void. Celine was the one who faced our many problems at the vineyard. We owe Celine a great debt of gratitude. That's why my mind is fully made up to give Celine the management of the vineyard," August said, getting bored outside Victor's house. They had been knocking for a while, but it seemed no one was home. "I don't know what I would do without Celine, so I agree with you, August," Amanda said seriously. The couple, August and Amanda, went home without finding anyone at Victor Guerrero's house. When they arrived home, August immediately went to their room to rest. Meanwhile, Amanda snuck into the room of her driver, who was none other than Gilbert Celine's father and the man Amanda truly loved. "Just a little longer, Han. We'll have everything. August's house and the vineyard. Our daughter is doing everything," Amanda said with a smile draping her arms around Gilbert's neck. "All our dreams will finally come true. We'll be a whole family. If it weren't for that pest August who took advantage of you, we wouldn't have been separated," Gilbert said, annoyed. "Let it go, Han. What's important now is that we're rich and we'll be together freely forever," Amanda replied, kissing his cheek. "I heard from our daughter Celine that Hazel has woken up. What will we do if she comes back to this mansion one day?" Gilbert asked his mistress. "Relax, Gilbert. You're too paranoid. We managed to kill Roman back then after we tampered with his car's brakes. The same goes for Hazel. Easy, Han. If she didn't die then after you ran her over, let's see if she survives now, when we tamper with her car's brakes. But that girl is unlucky." "That accident was meant for August," Amanda said with a smile. "I feel sorry for Hazel in a way. I'm impressed with you. You really have no heart. You practically raised Hazel after you adopted her from her real parents and replaced her with Celine. She knows you as her mother, but you can actually hurt her. Stop it, Gilbert. Celine is our only child. Kate, well, she's mine and August's daughter, so she's not part of who I'm getting rid of. So she's lucky in a way. Hazel is not my daughter. Besides, we paid her parents a large sum of money, so that's not my problem anymore," Amanda replied sharply. August dropped the glass of water he was holding when he heard this from inside their driver Gilbert's room. He had felt Amanda get out of bed, so he followed her. He saw Amanda go to their driver's room. August got some water first because his heart was pounding at the sight of Amanda furtively entering the driver's room. The glass shattered on the floor. August's whole body trembled at what he heard. Hazel was not his daughter because she was adopted by Amanda. Celine was the child she gave birth to when he was abroad. But Amanda gave Celine to her real father to be properly cared for and adopted a child just to introduce as her daughter. "How dare you do this to me, Amanda, you animal?" August couldn't stop himself from storming into the room and confronting Amanda and Gilbert. "August, you heard everything we were talking about," Amanda exclaimed in disbelief. "Oh, you animal. You two are pigs. You've been cheating on me for a long time. You pests. And even Hazel. Hazel is not my daughter," August shouted in Amanda's face. A loud slap landed on his face from Amanda. "You really are a bastard," August blurted out. "Yes, because you're insane. If it weren't for your money and wealth, August, I wouldn't be able to stand being under the same roof with you," Amanda snarled at August. "Why, Amanda? Why did you do this to me? I loved you so much. Where did I go wrong that you were able to cheat on me?" August asked tearfully. "You forced me." "Have you forgotten?" Amanda retorted at the man. "I didn't force you back then, Amanda. I was drunk when something happened between us, and we agreed we had no responsibility to each other because we were adults. But what did you do to me? You made me believe you were pregnant with our child, so I married you." "I didn't force you." Another heavy slap from Amanda's hand landed on August's cheek. "You're rich. My family and Gilbert were poor back then. Is it wrong to take advantage of your wealth?" Amanda replied with a smirk to August. "You animal. You were just tricking me. You won't succeed in your deception, Amanda. I won't give the vineyard to your daughter, Celine. It's better for everything to go to Hazel. At least Hazel is innocent and not a cheater like you and your daughter. And you even brought your lover right here into my home. Get out, get out," August shouted, but his eyes widened after Gilbert hit him on the head with a pistol grip. August clutched his head in pain. A thick, wet liquid flowed profusely from it. August felt it. "You animal, Gilbert," he said, about to attack the man, but August fell to the floor and lost consciousness. "Gilbert, what are we going to do?" "You might have killed him," Amanda said, terrified. "Don't panic. Okay, relax. We'll take August out of the house and throw him in the sea. Get a garbage bag. Quick," Gilbert ordered Amanda. Amanda quickly got a large garbage bag from the living room. Gilbert put August's body inside the garbage bag to be thrown into the sea. Even if he was alive inside the garbage bag, he wouldn't survive after suffocating inside the plastic. Meanwhile, Amanda was restlessly left inside the house. Fortunately, it seemed no one had noticed them earlier, not even the maids. She would just think of an alibi if someone asked where August was. The day came for August to turn over the vineyard to Celine. But no August showed up, only Amanda. A few board members were curious, but they couldn't do anything when Amanda said that August had left their home to be with another woman. The board members were shocked by what Amanda said and couldn't believe August would do that to his wife. August was known to be a good husband to Amanda. "My husband and I have agreed to give Celine the management of the vineyard, especially since Hazel still hasn't woken up," Amanda began. "I believe whoever has the largest share of the vineyard has the right to its management. How many shares does Miss Ross have?" asked Ola, one of the board members. "She has a 5% share in the vineyard. I will give her Hazel's 30% share and my 10% share. We will give this to her to make her have a total of 40% shares." "Well, you're mistaken, Mama. I still have the largest share in this vineyard because I will not give my shares to Celine," Hazel said, as she entered the conference room. Amanda and Celine were shocked to see Hazel standing before them alive and well, but Amanda quickly recovered from her shock. "Hazel, my child, where have you been? I was so worried about you." "It's been days since you woke up, but you didn't come home," Amanda exclaimed, approaching Hazel to hug her. But Hazel met her mother with a hard slap. "You mean you were terrified that I would wake up because your plans to seize Grandpa Roman's assets would no longer come to fruition?" "You might be able to fool Dad, but not me," Hazel blurted out. "Hazel, you don't know all the hardships your Aunt Amanda has been through since you were hospitalized." "Don't talk like that," Celine said, rushing to her mother whom Hazel had hurt. But Celine froze when she too was hit by a hard slap from Hazel. "You're another traitor. How dare you steal everything from me? And you think your plans will succeed? Dream on, Celine." "Amanda," Hazel said with a smirk. She was tired of being hurt and crying. Her heart had grown numb to the people in front of her. She felt no mercy after discovering the secret of Amanda, the woman she had known as her mother since she was a child. "You're so ungrateful. After I helped your family for a year since you were bedridden in the hospital, this is what you do to me." "You have some nerve," Celine yelled. But Hazel's eyes narrowed, and she grabbed Celine's hair and slammed her face onto the table. Amanda was about to approach them to help her daughter, but Kate stopped her. "As if you weren't the one who planned the accident that happened to me. That accident was supposed to be for Dad. But I was the fool. I saved my father from the accident, so I was the one hit by the car, which fit perfectly into your plans," Hazel retorted. "Let go of me. What are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? You're just spouting nonsense," Celine struggled and shouted. "Kate, let go of me, child." "Look, your sister Hazel is hurting Celine," Amanda said. "Shut up. Even if Hazel kills that woman, I don't care," Kate said. Her eyes were filled with anger. "I considered you my best friend. But what did you do to me? You stole the worthless man I was with. You injected me with sedatives so I wouldn't wake up. But you were wrong. You shouldn't have injected me with sedatives but with poison so I would die for good," she snarled at Celine. "Hazel, let me explain. I didn't mean to fall for Celine while you were in the hospital. It all happened because I missed you," Daniel explained, pulling her away from Celine. But Hazel pushed Daniel away and then slapped his face twice. "Wake up. Do you really think I'm a fool? I knew it. Even before I had my accident, I knew you two were having an affair and had been cheating on me for a long time," Hazel said bravely. "That's not true, Hazel. I love you. You're the only one I love," Daniel pleaded. "Give me a break, Daniel." "I will never believe you again," Hazel said bitterly to her former fiancé. Despite her bravery in confronting them now, the pain of betrayal was still visible in her eyes at the hands of all the people she had trusted. "Okay, fine. Let's stop this. Whatever you do, Uncle and Aunt have already given me your shares in the company. Don't think you have anything to come back to after all this," Hazel Celine said with a smirk, composing herself. "I said, dream on. I still have the largest share in the vineyard. And even if Mama gives you my shares, why? Well, Grandpa Roman gave me his shares a long time ago. It's 30%, and the remaining 30% from the board members, 10% from my godmother Eloisa, 15% from Dad, and 5% from my godfather Ralph. They will all give them to me. A total of 60% in all, Celine." "So, as I said before, just dream on," Hazel said, laughing mockingly. "And who told you that Uncle would give you his shares in the vineyard?" Celine asked with a smirk. "I, of course. I will give Hazel my 15% in the vineyard, so that Hazel can manage the entire vineyard and so that your family of criminals can be kicked out," August shouted as he entered the conference room. He was in a wheelchair with a bandage on his head, being pushed by Victor into the conference room. "August, you're alive!" Amanda exclaimed in disbelief. Amanda felt weak and sat down in a nearby chair. The color drained from her face upon learning that August was alive and in front of them all. His eyes were full of rage. "Sir, come inside. Here are the two criminals who tried to kill me and also planned to kill my daughter Hazel. Arrest them." August ordered the police who were outside. "August, you can't do this to me," Amanda shouted after the police handcuffed her. "And you think I'll just turn a blind eye to all your evil deeds, you and your daughter? You'll also be joining your beloved Gilbert in prison. He's already there." Since yesterday, August revealed to them. "What? How did this happen?" Amanda asked in disbelief. "I followed your lover Gilbert yesterday after he took out the garbage bag containing Dad. Mom, did you really think I was clueless about everything happening in our family? I've suspected you and Celine for a long time. That is why I acted spoiled and indifferent to everything. But I've long suspected that you had something to do with what happened to Hazel. Especially when you and Kuya Daniel got married so quickly," Kate said with a smirk. "Kate was just gathering evidence against you because before my accident happened, I called Kate Hazel revealed the truth. We already had a plan against you two, Mom. Mom, you are my real mother, but I can't tolerate your madness to have everything that isn't yours in the first place. You are so evil, especially for what you did to Dad yesterday," Kate shouted at her mother. "So you knew about our plan?" Amanda asked Kate and Hazel. "We knew everything, Mom, and we were just playing along with your plans, especially after Hazel woke up," Kate replied to her mother. "I had nothing to do with all of this. I was just following orders from Amanda and my father Gilbert." "Hazel, you know we've been best friends since we were kids. I didn't want any of this." "They just ordered me," Hazel Celine cried out. "That's fine, Celine. You'll be with your whole family in prison," Hazel said with a smile to Celine. "Hazel, I had nothing to do with this. I didn't know about their plans against you. I'm innocent, Hazel. Hazel, I love you so much. I still love you. Forgive me. If I ever made a mistake, I'm sorry, Daniel pleaded. Take them away, officers. Our lawyer has prepared the case against this family, Hazel ordered the police. It was sad because Hazel used to think that what happened on the day of her accident was just a bad dream. But on the day she woke up and discovered that it was all true, the perfect family she grew up in was just a lie because of Amanda's greed for money. It was just sad that she considered Amanda her real mother since she was a child. Just a moment, Officer Hazel stopped the police. Mom, did you ever even once consider me your daughter, Hazel asked the woman she had known as her mother for many years. Amanda wiped the tears from her eyes and looked at Hazel. From the very beginning, you were just a tool for me, Hazel, to get into August's life. But I took care of you and raised you like my own child. Maybe if I hadn't been so greedy, I would have considered you my daughter, but I raised you well, Hazel, Amanda said with tears in her eyes. Amanda and Gilbert were imprisoned. Daniel and Celine were imprisoned with them, but their sentences were lighter compared to Gilbert and Amanda's. Another year passed. The vineyard grew even more prosperous under Hazel's management, while August stayed at home, continuing his life without Amanda. One day in prison, Amanda had a visitor who completely surprised her. Hazel, you're here. You came to visit me, Amanda asked the young woman in disbelief. Of course, Mom. In a way, you're the only mother I have. So I'll visit you from now on. And I just wanted to tell you something. Victor and I are getting married, Hazel announced to her mother. I'm happy for you, Hazel. Very happy. Please send my regards to your father. Has he still not forgiven me, Hazel? Amanda asked. You can't blame him, Mom. By the way, Kate is graduating from college this year and I'm teaching her how to run the vineyard, so I'll have a partner, she told Amanda. Thank you for taking care of Kate, even though you know she's not your real sister, Amanda said tearfully. Of course, Mom. Who else would take care of Kate but me? Hazel replied. Amanda was in tears every time Hazel visited her in prison. August and Kate never showed up. It was too late when she realized that August had a place in her heart because of the many wrong things she had done against him. It's hard to forgive those who have wronged you, especially when their sin is great. Meanwhile, Hazel was very happy in her life with the man who truly loved her. None other than Victor. Victor, who never left her side, especially during the time she was in a coma and unconscious. Everything is ready for our wedding. Why is my love pouting again? Victor asked the young woman, wrapping his arms around Hazel's waist. I'm waiting for the warden's reply. I hope he allows Mom Amanda to be released from prison for just one day to witness our wedding, Hazel replied. Are you sure you want Mrs. Amanda at our wedding after everything she did to you, your father and your grandfather? Victor asked. Of course. I want her to see how happy I am, even without her and Celine in our lives. I want her to see how much she wasted when she chose to do evil. Victor, I want her to regret all the sins she committed against us, Hazel replied to the young man. Jesus, you're making excuses again. Hazel, I know you too well, my love. What comes out of your mouth is different from what you truly feel. I know you've already forgiven Mrs. Amanda. I know that beneath your tough exterior is a soft heart, especially for the people you love. And I also know you still care for Mrs. Amanda. Hazel just sighed and buried her face in Victor's chest. She really couldn't get anything past this man. He could read her eyes and her hidden feelings. You're so annoying. I can't even lie to your face, Hazel said with a pout. What do you expect? I love you so much. Remember that all the evil you do to others has a price to pay in the end. So choose to be good, no matter your station in life. It's easy to be bad, but it's hard when the day of reckoning comes when you are made to pay for all the sins you have committed. And that is where our story for today ends. We hope you liked this story and learned a lesson from it. Again, thank you for your continued support of our channel.